Survivor 46 is here, and so is On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast, and we have a twist this season. The winner of Survivor 45, Dee Valladares, will be joining us every week.
We're going behind the scenes of the biggest moments, the how and the why things happen, and the strategy and analysis you can only get from someone like me, a Survivor winner.
Listen to On Fire, the official Survivor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Hyperice, the leader in advanced warm-up and recovery technology. They have tons of innovative products, like Venom-heated wearables to help soothe sore back muscles, Normatec compression boots to speed up recovery and increase circulation, and Hypervolt massage guns to improve mobility. Loved by athletes like Naomi Osaka and Erling Haaland. Try them yourself. Get 10% off your order with the code MOVE at hyperice.com.
This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. Arsenal are not top of the league despite the fact that they're blowing their load against crap teams in February and March. Liverpool are top of the league despite an unprecedented injury crisis, despite having had the hardest schedule thus far this season. Liverpool are top of the league. Liverpool are also Carabao Cup winners in 2024, winners of the piss-boiling Shield in 2024, still in the FA Cup and still in the Europa League. It's all coming up very, very nicely for Jurgen Klopp's Reds. But to listen to the media talk, to go on social media, you'd think Arsenal were 12 points clear. Their record against big teams this year, they've scored the most, they've conceded the least. Well, they've scored the most because they've been beating up on shit teams recently. They've conceded the least because, let's be completely honest, they play, for the large part, risk-adverse football. They line up with 4 to 5 centre-backs every single game. Sometimes one of them plays in midfield. Most times it's 4 at the back, all centre-backs, Ben White, Kivor. Now, when Zinchenko plays, he's obviously not a centre-back, but it's still 3 centre-backs, and then 2 sitting in midfield for the most part. Jorginho and Rice, Partey and Rice when Partey's fit. Kivor plays a lot at left back. Tomiyasu's played a lot at full back, along with Ben White. They brought in Jurrien Timber. He's going to play some full back, some midfield. He's another one that's largely a centre back. They're risk adverse. They always leave mass numbers behind the ball, unlike us who leave 2 behind the ball and everybody else attacks. And I keep hearing about their wonderful record against the top teams. So I thought, well, we'll have a little look at that, will we? So the first top team and big club that they played this year was Manchester United, and they beat them 3-1, bearing in mind that game was 1-1 in the 96th minute, and United had had what looked like a perfectly fine goal ruled out because of a dodgy offside call. Their go-ahead goal by Declan Rice, there was a clear foul by Gabriel on Johnny Evans but yet that was just ignored. So there's that one. Then they drew 2-2 with Spurs, a game in which they were largely outplayed. Then they drew 2-2 with Arsenal. Sorry, they didn't. They beat Manchester City 1-0. And if you remember that game, that was City without Rodri. Now, Rodri hasn't lost any of his last 59 league games, and City's record without Rodri is pretty poor. So do you think that might have had a bit of a impression on that game, the fact that Rodri wasn't there? And also the fact that the goal they got to win the game was a deflected shot by Martinelli that was going about 5 foot wide. And then they drew 2-2 with Chelsea, a game in which they were largely outplayed for an hour and went 2-0 down. And to their credit, came back, but that's more to do with Chelsea bottling things than them themselves. Then they lost 1-0 away to Villa, which people seem to ignore because apparently, you know, even though Villa are fourth, we're not going to count them. Then they drew 1-1 at Anfield. Now, we all remember that game, don't we? Where they started brilliantly, went 1-up, and for 20 minutes they were all over us. And then from 20 on, we were the dominant team and outplayed them. We all remember that game, where Martin Odegaard was allowed to play basketball in their penalty area and a penalty wasn't given. We all remember that game when we got a 4-on-1 breakaway and Trent made a bollocks of it and hit the crossbar. And we should have won that game 3-1. If we'd won that game 3-1, the narrative is so much different. Let's also remember about that game that the Arsenal team on the day was Mikel Arteta's preferred strongest 11. They had David Raya in goal. They had Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko as their fullback. That's their nominal first choice back four, their best goalkeeper. They had Odegaard, Rice and Havertz in midfield. That's the midfield that they spent all this money to put together. And they had Saka, Jesus and Martinelli in attack. So that's what they had. Their best 11 out there. We had Alisson. We had Trent. We had Ibu. We had Virgil. We didn't have Andy Robertson. We had Costa Simicas. So we're missing one starter. Then in midfield, we had Dominic, Endo and Jones. Well, there's no Alexis McAllister there. Is he on the bench? No, he's not. So that's two starters. We have Salah. We've got Gakpo and Diaz. Now, Gakpo was started over Darwin, who was fit and was on the bench. That's fine. But Diaz played instead of Diogo Jota, who's not in the squad at all. So we're missing three starters for that game. Three of what Jurgen would have as his best 11. So they've got their best 11 out there. We're missing three of ours, and we still outplayed them. And you can point to shots and possession numbers all you want. They're utterly irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, we outplayed them from the 20-minute mark onwards. And if not for a horrendous refereeing decision and Trent missing an unbelievable chance, we win that game 3-1. We move forward. They lose to West Ham. They lose to Fulham. Then they beat us. They beat us 3-1. So let's have a look at the teams that day. Now, the Arsenal team on the day, you've got Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. So you've got the back five. You've got Odegaard and Rice. You've got Jorginho brought into midfield. And Kai Havertz pushed into the forward line. You've got Saka. You've got Martinelli. So you're missing Gabriel Jesus. You're missing one starter. One. We had Alisson. We had Trent, who you'll remember wasn't fit and had to come off in that game. We had Ibu, we had Virgil. We've Joe Gomez at left back. Andy Robertson not fit enough to start the game. He was on the bench, but he wasn't fit. So there's a starter missing and one who wasn't fit. In midfield, Ryan Gravenberch is there. Why is he there? Because Dominic Szoboszlai is not there. There's no Wataru Endo. And I think both of them, along with Andy Robertson, are in our first choice 11. There's no Mo Salah in the attack. And Darwin Núñez wasn't fit enough to start. So we're missing 3 starters. Three starters. We have 2 other starters not fit enough to start, and 1 who did start who wasn't fit enough to really play. That's 6 players either not there or compromised. They're missing 1. But if I'm not mistaken, in between us playing them in the league in both games, we also played them in the cup. And what happened in that game? Oh, we beat them. We beat them 2-0. Now, they played Ramsdale, but the midfield, the defence, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, they're all there. Kivor starts, so they're missing 1 starter. You've got Odegaard, you've got Rice, you've got Jorginho in midfield. So maybe Jorginho's a borderline starter, but he's not a first-choice player. But Havertz is there. He's playing in attack. You've once again got no Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli came off the bench, but he was fit. So there again, they're missing 1 starter, Zinchenko. Raya's on the bench, so he's fit. So they're not missing the starting goalkeeper. They've just chosen to play their cup goalkeeper. Our team on the day, Alisson, Trent, Ibu, Quansah, not Virgil, not in the squad, absent. Andy Robertson, not in the squad, absent. There's 2. Dominic Szoboszlai, not in the squad, absent. There's 3. Wataru Endo, not in the squad, absent. There's 4. Mohamed Salah, not in the squad, absent. There's 5. Again, we're missing 5 players. We still went there and beat them. And yet the narrative is that they're much better than us. That's the narrative around this, despite the fact that we've beaten them once, outplayed them once, and lost once with 6 players either absent or compromised. We've had a harder schedule than them this season. You know how I know that? Because they've got the hardest run in by a considerable margin. And I had one Wally tell me yesterday, but we play a lot of the same teams. Do you not understand the concept of home and away? We play City at home. They play them away. We play Spurs at home. They play them away. We play Brighton at home. They play them away. We play Wolves at home. They play them away. Their run-in is much harder than ours. Therefore, we have played a harder schedule to this point. Let's dig into it a bit further. So, their starting goalkeeper is David Raya. Everybody would agree with that. He's played 22 games in the league of 27. He wasn't allowed to play one of them because it was against Brentford. He wasn't at the club for the first 3, and he was on the bench for the other one. So he's been available to them for all bar 1 game. Well, sorry, for all bar 4 games, 3 of which he wasn't at the club. So they've had no issue in goal. Remember, they gave Ramsdale a big new contract in the summer, so they can't claim that they're missing Ramsdale. Their starting right back is Ben White. Ben White has played in 26 league games. Thus, he's missed 1. Their starting left back is Zinchenko. Now, he's played in 21 league games, so he's missed 6 games. Right? So he's actually missed 6 games. So that's 1 for White and 6 for Zinchenko. William Saliba and Gabriel are their centre-backs. Gabriel has played in 25 games, thus he's missed 2. And William Saliba has played in all 27 and not missed any. So isn't that nice for them? In midfield, Declan Rice has played in all 27. Kai Havertz has played in 26 of the 27. The one he missed, he was suspended for, but he's missed 1 game. Martin Odegaard has played 24. He's missed 3. They can scream and cry and have tantrums that Thomas Partey's been out. They signed Declan Rice to replace Thomas Partey. They told us all year Declan Rice is the best defensive midfielder in the world. So how are you missing Thomas Partey if you signed Rice to replace him, and Rice is better than him. How can you be missing Partey? They haven't been. So, into the attack. Bukayo Saka has played 26 games. He's missed 1. Gabriel Jesus has played 18 games, so he's missed 9. And Martinelli has played 25. He's missed 2. So in total, that's 7, 10, 14, 23, 25 games missed by their best 11. Let's have a look at Liverpool, because I bet it's more. Would you bet it's more? I'd bet it's more. Now, we can start off with Alisson Becker. He has missed 6 Premier League matches. Trent is our first choice right back, and Trent has missed 6. Andy Robertson is our first choice left back. He's missed 13 games. Between just those 3 players, we're already at the same number as Arsenal are. Ibu Konate, he's played 19. He's missed 8 games. Virgil van Dijk has missed 2 games. Now, they were through suspension, but he still missed them. Just like Havertz, we're going to count them. Into midfield, Alexis McAllister has played 22 games, so he's missed 5. Dominic Szoboszlai has played 22 games. He's missed 5. Now, with Endo or Curtis Jones, who's the third starter? Jones has played 17. Endo has played 19. So it's either 8 or 10 games. I'm going to go with Endo, as it's the smaller number. We'll go with 8 games missed, played 19 games. Now the attack. Mo Salah has played 21. He's missed 6. Darwin Núñez has played 25. He's missed 2. And Diogo Jota has played 19. He's missed 8. 35, 45, 45, 53, 55, 61. That's 69 games missed by our starting 11 as opposed to their starting 11. And I understand that they'll say, oh, well, Jurriën Timber's been missing and Thomas Partey's been missing. Thiago Alcantara has been missing and Stefan Bajcetic has been missing. So where do you want to go next? Where do you want to go next? We have had almost 3 times the number of injuries to our starting 11. Every Liverpool player has missed multiple games. 3 of their lads have played in every game. They've not had to change a whole bunch. And their number, they're 25. 6 of them is Zinchenko, 9 is Gabriel Jesus. 15 between 2 players, meaning 10 between the other 9. 2 players over 5 games missed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 who've missed 5 or more. They have 2. And yet we're still above them. And yet the media narrative is that they're better than us. How are they better than us? If we're ahead of them, having played a harder schedule and having had so many more injuries. How could you possibly claim that they're better than us? Like, fuck it, let's go man for man. Alisson or Raya, it's Alisson. Trent or White, it's Trent. Ibu or Saliba. If you're an aesthetics idiot, you might pick Saliba. If you look at defending, it's Ibu. Virgil or Gabriel, it's very clearly Virgil. Now, Zinchenko and Robbo is close. It is, because Robbo has declined. I'd still take Robbo. He's more reliable in that position. In midfield, Szoboszlai or Odegaard. Personally, because of what he offers off the ball, I would take Szoboszlai. I can understand people taking Odegaard. That's fine. Call that a push. Rice or Endo? Endo's better positionally. Rice is more athletic and can cover more ground. So you go with Rice. Alexis or Havertz is not a competition. Not a competition at all. Their next man up in midfield is Jorginho. Ours is Curtis Jones. We win that one too. Salah is better than Saka. Darwin is better than Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli's really good. I'd rather have Jota. Like, there's one of their players gets into a combined 11. 2, if you want to go Odegaard, I wouldn't argue it. 2, max. None of the rest of them are getting in. And it's not a competition between the managers. It's Jurgen in every single aspect. Every single aspect. All we know of Mikel Arteta right now is that he's a checkbook manager who bottles the end of seasons. That's all he's proven as a manager. And based on the fact that his team are peaking far too early this year, I think they're going to do the same again this year. So I don't understand how anyone can argue that they're better than us. Again, like, they'll point at Timber and say, we haven't had him all season. Okay, who's he coming in for? Is he coming in at right back instead of the £50 million player you have there? Or is he coming in at left back instead of the £35 million player you have there? The two players, by the way, who they spent all of last season telling us were the best right back and left back in the league. They spent all of last year claiming Ben White was the best right back in the league. All of last year claiming Zinchenko was the best left back in the league. So who's Timber coming in for? If these are the best in the league. If Saliba's the best in the world, he's obviously not starting over him, is he? So is he starting over Gabriel? Is that where he starts? Because believe me, that will weaken you. Gabriel is a better defender than Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber is a better footballer. Gabriel's a better defender. But this idea that they've been missing Timber when they had the best fullbacks in the league last year, the idea they're missing Partey when apparently Rice is the best 6 in the world, their arguments don't make sense. But there's nothing you can look at that tells you they're a better team than us. Oh, they've got superior XG. Like, at some point, these kids will grow up and realize that XG isn't all that informative. And there's a reason clubs moved away from XG a number of years ago. Like, take, for example, Liverpool versus Norwich, or Liverpool versus Forest, rather, in the weekend. The XG looks close in the game. It does. Why? Because they count the Elanga chance. He was offside. Had he scored, it would have been called back for offside. But yet, because it didn't get intervened on, because Queeveen saved it and the linesman never put his flag up, it counts. That's why XG is hugely flawed. They'll tell you about their field tilt. Okay, great. Congrats. When's the parade? When's the parade where you bring in your trophies for field tilt and best XG? We have better players than them. We have a better manager than them. And despite a harder schedule and a shit ton of injuries, we're ahead of them with an easier run-in than them. What am I meant to be impressed by? Seriously. On This Is Anfield, there's a piece about Sparta Prague. There is a piece about our defensive line and a piece about Alexis. There is also a piece on potential new away kit for next year. A piece about Paul Tierney and claims that he was dropped for making an error, which he didn't. Liverpool youngster serving long ban for punching and elbowing Man United player. I did see the clip of this when it happened. Let's have a quick look. Liverpool ex-player with ties to Michael Edwards for sporting director. It's Richard Hughes. I don't think there's any truth to it at all, to be completely honest. I think that's just media speculation. He's not very good at what he does. And unless Edwards was coming in as well, it would make absolutely no sense to bring him in. This is Anfield are offering you the opportunity to win a personalised signed Conor Bradley shirt. So get on that. Lovely stuff from Matt and the lads over at This is Anfield. Luca Fernell-Gill is the young player who is serving a ban. How long has he been given? 5 games. 5 games. That's a lot. I would imagine he got quite the bollocking behind the scenes. I think the academy is run very, very strictly, and I would imagine that did not go down very, very well at all. On to AnfieldIndex.com, where we will have some new content for you. On a podcast, on the podcast side of things, there is a new old school. Myself and Gags back together for the first time in a long time. We did a bit of reminiscing, but we talked mostly about what's going on with the club right now, how impressed we are with the team, and all the rest. So give that a listen. It's about an hour and a half, so it's a good one. There is a Stat Me Up, Dave Davis and Ben Boxack, looking at the Forest game and ahead at the Sparta game. And obviously there is the David Lynch Media Matters as well to check out. Article-wise, there's a piece on Gravenberch and the other injuries. There's a piece on the academy and the ban that Fernell-Gill has gotten. Liverpool's strategic hunt for a new sporting director. And there's a piece about Fabio Carvalho, who's really starting to impress for Hull. So check out all of them, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.